pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, roll call wise, we have one member, Frazier is absent. And I think that's the only one that's absent. So we have a quorum. And the next item on the agenda is and that's got the wrong date on this agenda. That should say the 12th because we skipped the meeting. It should say September 12th. And I will have to admit, I cannot find the minutes on the website. And I was gonna try to get to Rocky and ask him, how come I'm not communicating those minutes properly, I guess. I have a hard copy here, and Bert went to a lot of trouble to get these done. But no one else has seen them, have they? I haven't seen them either. So something that I've done, I guess, hasn't been posted, so I gotta figure that out, so I don't think we can approve it since hardly anyone's read them yet. Got anything to add to that?
Also too, that should read draft on the top of it. I'll give a new copy of them. And
That's true.
We'll post those and we'll vote on that next time.
Okay, so we can't approve those minutes yet because we haven't got them properly posted. And some of that's just us trying to learn the system, I guess. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agenda for today?
Second.
Okay, all approved, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's approved then. Okay, for old business, the item A, initial business plan was approved by the Angel Fire Council on the 16th of September. Thanks to all of those that participated and wrote that. Evidently, it has achieved the goal that we wanted to, as we'll find out in the next item. The status of the resolution, Colfax County, was approved, and the approval from Angel Fire for the resolution that you may have a copy of. It's in the stack that we were given here. That resolution has been initially approved. The final approval, as I understand it, is on next Tuesday evening's agenda at the city council. You have anything to add to that, Mayor? And Alvin, I mean, you had one question about the resolution. You want to bring that up?
Rocky had said something about wanting us to include it in our meeting here, but I was a little bit, I didn't understand what he wanted, whether he wanted us to put it in our minutes somehow, or I wasn't fully understanding, and I didn't get an answer back from him exactly what he was wanting this committee to do with that resolution.
As far as I know, there's nothing needs to be done in this committee. It was just a technical issue as far as it wasn't posted to the agenda online. It was posted in the physical locations prior to the last council meeting, but not online. So we want to just revisit it one more time, just to make sure that we fully comply with the open meeting day. That's the only reason we're revisiting on Tuesday.
That was my only question. That should answer it.
Well, another question that I have regarding the resolution is it doesn't mention the committee at all. So that's as I see it, the resolution really is relying on the village staff and village attorney to engage Colfax County as it shows down in the, next to the last paragraph. To engage Colfax County and its designated representatives to facilitate due diligence and exchange of documents and information. So I guess my question then is, who on the staff do we go to if we, as a committee, are looking for a document? Or like we are looking for a compliance plan from them and have been asking for that for a long time, since we started actually. But who do we work with on the staff to do that?
You can ask me specifically, since I'm a liaison to the committee, for anything you need, I'll make sure that you get it.
Okay. And I didn't know who the village attorney was, is that?
We've been dealing specifically with Man Winter. I can't recall the name of the firm right off the top of my head, but they were recently selected as our village attorney.
Okay. So if we have questions, we can go to him.
It's a man is a she, so I would suggest that you, bring it to myself or the manager, and then the manager and I will engage the attorney.
Okay. Any questions about that from anyone on the committee? Other than those questions?
Delicately as I can ask it. So it was mentioned that we've been looking for the FAA's compliance plan for the airport from the county for at least 2 months. So when we asked you, can we specify a timeline? I mean, we need this within 15 days, 30 days, 45 days, rather than kind of just leaving it out there to eventually get there. Is that something that we can do as a committee, saying we have need of things and need it?
Yeah, and that's it, we'll just apply the pressure to get those, anything that we can from the county. Of course, our request has gone, obviously unanswered as well, but we'll continue to push for that.
Yeah, and this wasn't a reflection on the village, because this was asked directly of the county. They're not doing anything.
Right.
So this is, if you're gonna be that point man. to
I mean,
fire-
and whatever I can do, I will certainly.
And just to make it clear, our attempt to gather these kinds of documents are to anticipate the hiring of the consultant, and we will have these documents ready for him instead of him having to then go through this whole process again of trying to find them. So, those are the kinds of efforts that we've been trying to work on.
Is
to
there
get
anything else
ready.
that you're currently needing from the county? Everything ambition?
The airport, just, it's the compliance, including the airport plats. All agreements that the county has with the FAA in regards to plots of land that the FAA has a lien on.
Right. I've been specifically asking for that.
Yeah, exactly. And then the financials. You know, what are the obligations the county have with the FAA? And yeah, I think you've been asking those too, so. Yeah.
Maybe the state of New Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. State aviation, what if there's any obligations there also?
Could be some.
The inspection reports,
Inspection reports, all of them, everything.
just all that kind of documentation are gonna be needed.
Certainly.
So that's one of our goals that we've set, I guess, for ourselves somewhat, is just to have that ready for the consultant. Okay. I will ask a question. Do you want me to be present at the council meeting on Tuesday to present any of this?
I would love it if you could, yes. I would ask that, anytime we have the first of the month is the first council meeting of the month is when we typically do our staff and committee reports, and so it's always good to have the chair when possible. Present rather than a liaison. Obviously, I'm happy to help if I can, but yes, if you're available, I would love it if you could attend.
Okay, thanks. That's why I was wondering. Any other questions on the status of the resolution? If not, we'll go to item C, report on the RFP. We have Julie here today who's helping us prepare the RFP. We provided some edits as to what the requirements that we think need to be added to that. She's got all the good legal stuff in there, so, that I have no idea about. So we've been working with her. We're going to present that for approval at the council meeting on Tuesday. So there's probably a couple of more, items that we would, like the one page I asked you about that shows the construction, we could X that out.
Yeah, anything, any other edits you want to have, let me know, and I just need it before council so we can get it into their packets.
Well, thank you for how quick you worked on this already. I think I only got it to you Wednesday and you were already zipping through it, so excellent response on that. Does anyone have any other questions or suggestions about what goes in that RFP? I sent it out for everyone to look at.
Did everyone, did you all see it? Was it sent? I don't know how that's done.
Right now, it's just been shared with this committee.
Okay,
It's not yet a final draft.
okay, very good.
Yeah, it's a working document, so right now it's not finalized until council approves it.
Do you want to let our guests
Sure.
know a little bit about what, you know, I pass it out, we will do the interview. What we're actually talking about.
I mean, we're talking about, establishing an RFP, and maybe you might want to explain this better than I. But we are required to advertise for 2 weeks. We're trying to pick not only local, newspapers, but some professional, publications that I don't know if you know about. Did you remember
In
that?
professional airport management, there's a couple of nationwide, actually worldwide publications, so we're in the process of trying to engage them to figure out their timelines for publication, how far in advance we need to get out, so that this RFP goes out to professional aviation or people that have interest in aviation consulting, have experience in what we're asking for, specifically within that RFP.
And gentlemen, 2 weeks is your minimum, so you can advertise for longer, whatever your professional publications require, you can advertise for longer.
Currently, in this draft, it's a cutoff of November 22nd, but we're thinking that that's gonna have to get pushed back based on national publications. So
So there is a date, and that date has been pushed out primarily for that advertising. The items that we asked for were consulting with our Airport District Office POC regarding the FAA Order 5280-5D and 5190-6 or 0.6B for the sponsor transfer requirements. And writing all the compliance plan and documents as required, assist in any budgeting requested, and work with the current sponsor, Colfax County, compliance plan and liens for grants received, current sponsor for any other documents that are needed, and provide us with technical assistance to the committee and to the mayor and the council. There's one line in here called, it says something about request for funds to accompany the application should be referred to the village. Julie, is that something that we need to edit?
We can take that out.
Yeah, I think we take that now. We made it clear that our application is for general aviation classification only, no Part 139 certification will be necessary, so that was made clear. And that's primarily the issues that are discussed. I did add under the other scope of work, sentence about the documents as necessary to the airport. The airport district office POC. So I'll give you that before we leave today. Any other questions about that? Okay. So that's well underway and looking for final edits and approval on Tuesday at the council. Item D was a report on the pending and outstanding New Mexico and federal airport grants. I did mention that the 4.4 million in federal grants since 2005 was already as part of the agenda. And the New Mexico Aviation Authority grants I found at least, I'm not sure how far back that goes, we're 1.6 million. So that covers that one. Any questions on item D? No. Okay. Documents from Colfax County, we've already discussed that item as far as the compliance plan. We were also, although it has nothing to do with this transfer, just we're curious about the Rural Air Service grant, just to see what, if there were any requirements in there that we might have to know about later on. But that's just another part of that list that we've been asking from the county. Any other issues there or questions?
My comment is, Mr. Mayor, that last one, number 2, the Rural Air Service grants, that will intersect once the village takes operational control of the airport, so it is an important document. However, that timeline looks like in between, you know, the changeover in sponsorship, so that's the reason why we were looking for that.
Okay, under new business then, item A, mission and scope of working committee. We are we prepared a draft press release. And that has been, looks like it's been reviewed by someone in your staff, Mayor. Is that something that we're going to try to publish then?
Yes.
At least even after next Tuesday? Okay. Well, part of that, is addressing the fact that, the committee's mission, as the words are now, is to advise the council, provide supportive work efforts such as business plans, airport technology recommendations, and a request for proposal, as we just discussed, to hire the FAA airport transfer expert and to guide the estimated 1-year process under that individual. So that's what's listed as the mission, scope of the efforts. It says to include the technical airport equipment, provide safe aircraft operations, knowledge of past and present budgeting processes, and grants to make the airport self-supporting, and public awareness of the committee's efforts. So that's why we're contributing as needed, some press release to discuss the situation that we're currently under. There won't be a lot of those often as we spread out our activities over a year, but we will want to keep everyone aware of what's happening. So any questions about the press release and the mission scope statement? Yes.
As long as you call it the Angel Fire Airport and not the Colfax County Airport,
Okay.
you're good to go with less misunderstanding.
I did call it the airport sector, and I actually used KAXX. Most of the public won't have a clue what that means, but,
Well, that's true.
but at least the pilots and the local people there that use the airport will. Okay, yes, that is included in several places. Okay, so item B is the same press release, being repetitive there. And nothing else to discuss with that. And any additional items from anyone?
Yeah, I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
When we were talking about the obligations that exist for the airport through Colfax County at the moment, it looks to me from this, they've received about 6 million in funds from 2005 until now between federal and Mexico grants. And we were talking about an obligation that amounted to, I think, around $400,000.
I've heard rumors of 400. I haven't
So
heard
is
of that.
there any of the 6 million left in the coffers in the county? They won't tell you?
We don't know.
Or have they spent some of the 6 million on something other than the airport.
Yeah,
I don't know, sure.
yeah. We're in agreement. That's why we're looking for this information. Lodgers tax, there was a lodgers tax fund in the county too. That was for you designated for the airport. We don't know what's there, if it's there or anything. So that's,
So it's a murky financial situation that we're looking at here. The Colfax County people haven't been forthcoming with whether or not all this money has been spent.
Mayor, is that part of the agreement that you've already met? I guess I communicated, I'll use that word, that you've communicated with Colfax County, or there's gonna be a negotiation about all these budget items?
Yes, of course. Again, there hasn't been any agreements made whatsoever. It's only been very vague discussion. But again, until we can get the information, we don't have anything to base an agreement on. So that's, again, first steps, and with the passing of these resolutions, that should, have the county working with the village at this point to get the necessary documentation and numbers, so we can start to put that together. But as of right now, it's extremely very foggy, because there hasn't been any supporting documentation to show what those numbers actually are.
And you're gonna establish all that schedule as far as meeting with them, and
I am gonna do my best to get that information from them, yes.
that's not something you want us to do, so.
I mean, let me see what I can do, and if we need to, let me see what I can do. Now that the resolutions have been passed, I can prepare a document, because we have specifically asked for those items, but I'll prepare a document specifically asking for them. I haven't done so since the resolutions have been passed in both bodies.
Yeah, I guess one of the questions is that a legal letter that we're gonna have to send to them requesting that information, or is it gonna be an informal meeting, or what? How's that
Again,
gonna-
I'd like to leave the village attorneys out of it when possible. But if it comes to that, of course, we'll do what we need to do to get the information.
Okay, well, let us know what we can do to help. Please.
Well, I can't speak to the New Mexico authority grants, but when it comes to the feds, typically they have to have information about where that 4.4 million went. There's gotta be documentation somewhere.
You would think it would be
They haven't
public knowledge.
Yeah.
Information. that
Well,
should be
it's
available.
Information Act. Yeah,
Mike Provine ought to be able to help you with a lot of that. He was been calling into the meeting that the county had last week where they accepted all the grants that were outstanding.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see supporting paperwork with that, but they voted specifically to accept all the
Well, I
grants.
saw Mike
yeah, he's gone.
on the meeting, but
The problem with the committee is that we can't assign Mike Provine work.
right.
It has to come through the county. And can I say it? 4 people is all that's left at the county running the government right now. In the
3
staff,
commissioners and 4 support staff,
yeah.
plus the road crew.
So it's pretty tight up there. So no excuse, but, yeah,
I mean, that's one reason why personally, I think we want to make it pretty clear that this is not happening next week. This is happening, it may take us a year to get all this information, and that's as as one of the candidates for the consultant said, he may have to resort to even doing some kind of a
Well, and one thing I could suggest, since it was brought up, that everything we're asking for should be public record, is we could do a formal DIPRA request, which they would be forced to comply with.
yes.
well, and here, once again, I don't know that I can speak to the authority grants for New Mexico. Their stipulations might be different than the feds, but I do know the feds take a dim view of municipalities spending grants for like aviation, sewage and other disposal issues.
And you're correct, Jim, and Dave, the FAA does know this. They do. Unless somehow, and I'm not going down the conspiracy road, but they do. And Mike Provine would be a good point.
Yeah, well, my thought is we need to obtain that
Yes,
breakdown where the funds have gone to see if there's really, if they've only spent, say, 4.5 million of the 6.
right.
Then there should still be $1.50 sitting in the coffers up in the county there that should transfer with the airport.
That's part of our information gathering we're trying to conduct.
So we're 3 days into the new year for the feds. We still have not heard from the folks at the ADO yet, but I should say we would anticipate that in the next couple of weeks, we'll start having more communication with them as they establish their work program for 25. And so we should be able to, we may be able to just ask them direct, can we get the answer to this question
Yeah.
rather? So,
And you and I have been here long enough. I haven't seen what looks like millions of dollars spent on the airport here in the last 20 years anyway.
Runway rent.
We've got the issue with the icing. Is that who is the one that takes care of that? EPA? Is that an EPA?
it's FAA, EPA. The FAA will require an EPA study, which would include engineering specifics.
Well, I'm leaving that in the RFP.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
one of my questions.
a good thing down the road.
Okay. Any other comments? Looks like, we need something on the publication from you, if you can help us out with that, Jeff. And then Julie, before you leave, I'll give you some more markups and questions that I've got on the RFP. And I don't know of any other issues. Anyone online want, have any questions? Glenn or Mark?
Have an announcement.
Oh,
I
okay.
sent out a blast email. Most of y'all got it. Most did, some didn't. 2 representatives from the Charter Service are, they'll be here Monday at 1 PM. If anybody's interested to show, might be a good idea to rub some elbows. Get inside information.
What was that again?
1 PM Monday, representatives from the Charter Service, the Commercial Service. They're gonna send representatives out just for a informal inspection.
That'll give us a chance to ask them some questions. Okay, that's all. We'll adjourn. Meeting is adjourned.